Welcome back to Textiles and Treasures. One of the reasons I love going to the Goodwill Outlet, also known as the bins, is the randomness factor. You have no idea what's going to be inside those bins and what you'll be digging out and rescuing. I'm always on the lookout for vintage glassware, retro board games, as well as anything to do with needlework, fiber arts, and textiles. On this particular visit, I was also on the lookout for vintage Christmas because I've had good luck finding interesting Christmas ornaments, handmade decorations, and things like that at the bins. This particular visit was my most expensive one yet. Here's my total spend at the Goodwill Outlet. At this particular outlet location, glassware, electronics, books, and albums are 20 cents a pound. Miscellaneous items and textiles are $1.39. As much as possible, I try to stick to glassware, books, and electronics because they're such a better deal. However, as long as I can find miscellaneous items that aren't too heavy, I'll also pick those up. Let's get started. My first stop is always the glassware. They turn over the glassware bins a little less regularly, so my best finds have been when I happen to be there when they bring out new donations. However, it still pays to look through the bins. Everyone's looking for different items, and I can usually find a few things. I found this pretty floral bud vase, and as you can see, there's a very pale pastel colored flower. It looks like it may be an iris at the base of this bud vase. On the bottom, it did have the remnants of an otagiri sticker, but it came off when I cleaned it up. Whenever I can find nice otagiri pieces, I pick them up, and so this came home with me. I also found this glass mug. As you can see, this is a solid glass mug with a wintry scene all around the outside. This glass mug has definitely seen some wear, but when it's only 20 cents a pound, I can't resist it. This is pretty to have out and use for something like hot chocolate in the winter. I also found this wintry scene, this ceramic mug. As you can see, it's got a nice blue background with a tree on it, and on the bottom, it says Green Mountain Coffee, which is a local coffee chain, and I just thought this was really pretty and in good condition, and it was worth picking up. Another glass item that I found is this ceramic penguin tea light. As you can see, this is still new in package. I believe that this is a Walmart brand, but because it was in such good condition, it's never been used, I definitely had to take it with me. I love collecting penguins, and he will look great out for my display next Christmas. This is another adorable holiday item that I found in the bins. As you can see, it is a snowman with a cute little dog, and it's a tea light holder. I love snowmen, and I just thought this scene was really pretty. This might be nice to put out around St. Patrick's Day as well. We'll see what I decide to do with it. On the bottom, it says it is by Crazy Mountain Designs, and this is from 2001, made in China. I usually try to pick up things that are made in the USA, but when it comes to cute holiday items, I definitely make exceptions. I found some other interesting glassware in the miscellaneous bins, such as this opalescent hobnail tumbler or glass. I'm not really sure what this is for. You perhaps can't see very much on camera, but it's got an opalescent finish to it, and it's definitely seen some wear. This is definitely an older piece. It is marked on the bottom with either a W or an M, and I can't remember who this maker is. I'm going to have to do more research to figure it out. Either way, this is a pretty piece, and I was happy to find it unbroken inside the miscellaneous bins. As you may know, I collect owls, so I was pretty excited to find this ceramic owl with a cute little hat inside the miscellaneous bins unbroken. I like his funny little expression, and I like that he's pretty simple. That really allows him to look adorable with the hat. As you can see, this owl is Department 56. I found this set of 4 dessert plates in the bins, and I decided to get it. As I mentioned, I love snowmen, and I thought these designs were really pretty. As you can see, this is the Snow Friends collection by Susan Wingett. I'm not sure how to say her name, but I recognized her patterns because I have a cross-stitch book that was made from her designs. I'm not going to take the plates out, but they're in great condition. This is probably never used, and I think this will be perfect for putting cookies out around the holidays. This was originally $24.97. I think it probably was sold at Sam's or Walmart. This was about 4 pounds, so that means I paid just under $1 for it. I also found some random glass ornaments, such as this shamrock harp that may be for Christmas, perhaps to celebrate Irish heritage, or maybe a nice decoration for St. Patrick's Day. I also found this glass pickle. I vaguely recalled hearing about pickles, and it's actually quite interesting learning about the Christmas pickle. I suggest you Google it and read the story. So I just thought this was interesting, and since it was glass, it wasn't going to cost very much. I also found these 2 adorable Santa bells. My guess is that these came from a set, and I just thought they were so cute and they'll look nice on my tree. And who can resist for 20 cents a pound? I also found this Merry Christmas bell ornament. As you can see, it says Merry Christmas and there's Santa, and I like bells, so why not pick this up? I found this very vintage set of Christmas lights. These are a very, very thin orange set of lights, and I liked the box and I felt like why not pick them up? I don't know if they'll work in any of my lights, but it's definitely fun to find these old school lights. Speaking of lights, I found this set of LED Christmas lights that are really pretty when they're lit up. There's a testing station at the outlet, so I can always verify that these work, and electronics are a really good deal at 20 cents a pound, so why not pick these up? Another fun find at the bins was this heart that has red lights on it. So again, this is electronic, so it is 20 cents a pound. I think this is going to look so fun for Valentine's Day. I really like putting up lights for holidays that happen during fall and winter because they add a little extra cheer, and this will look so pretty on the wall. I love the random finds in the bins. If you watch any of my other videos, you may have heard me mention that I often pick up stained glass. I love finding stained glass for a couple of dollars and putting it on all of the windows that I have available. So I was pretty happy when I came across a bag filled with stained glass as well as some acrylic sun catchers. Here's one of the pieces I found. As you can see, it's a flower with pink petals and an orange center, and this one will just look lovely in the window. I also found this sailboat. I love the colors of the blue glass on this sailboat. That's one side. Maybe it's supposed to go this way. I'm not entirely sure. This was a fun find because I already have a sailboat or two, and this will look very nice next to them. I found this tulip, or perhaps it is a rose, I'm not entirely sure, with a pretty purple red color here and nice greens here. This one looks a little bit older. It may have gotten a little banged around, but it's still pretty and it will look nice with all of my other floral stained glass. And here is an apple. I already have an apple, but why not get another one? It's just so pretty and it was in great condition, and I was happy to find this too. I also found a couple of acrylic sun catchers, but when I washed them, they got a little bit of a coating. I'm gonna have to figure out if that has to do with the glue or if I can fix it. But I'll show you from this side, and it's pretty. It's a pretty tulip design. And I also found a fish. Why not? And I could not resist this Vermont cow. It's so cute. I also found this bag in the bins with some wind chimes inside. This is a cute little bird house with a floral painted design, and you see it has a nice chime to it. And I got this for my mom because she loves these wind chimes, and this is just so cute. And it was in great condition because it was tucked away in a bag. A couple of the other random things I picked up included this bag of lights. When I first saw this, I actually thought that they were Christmas tree lights, but then I thought about it and realized that this is from a vintage Light Bright set. I found this in a very old Cool Whip container, which is what made me think that it might be Christmas tree lights. And I looked these up, and these are fairly desirable because they're all the more vibrant colors that were popular in the 80s and 90s. So I can't put this in my Christmas tree, but maybe I'll find a Light Bright set of my own, or I'll resell it if I go down that route. Speaking of random finds and reselling, I found these USPS stack and weigh scales. I looked these up and they offered these in 2006 or 2007 or 8, something like that. And they're a good way to measure whether or not your boxes are under 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4, 5, or 6 pounds. They're very light, so I figured why not pick them up. Another random thing I found is this little neoprene tote. This says Kilner on the side, and when I did a little research, I found that this would have actually come with a glass jar. These were made in the UK, so it fits a rounder glass jar a little bit wider than a ball jar, and it's a little tote to bring around your reusable packaging. I thought this was cute and they're easy to wash, so why not pick it up? Speaking of totes, I found this pretty black floral tote in the bins. I always look for nice tote bags when I'm digging through the bins in order to store the things that I find, and it's a good way to get something that normally costs maybe $10 for much less. I use this tote bag to weigh all of the Tupperware that I'll show you a little bit later. I also found this big blue and teal insulated tote bag. I also used this to pack away all of my miscellaneous items, and it was in really good condition, and I felt like it would be useful for shopping for frozen food. I really liked the colors. This is by Arctic Zone, and I think this might be something that you could pick up at Sam's. I'm not entirely sure, but it was in good condition, and why not? It was a great way to take my items home. I mentioned that I was on the lookout for Christmas items, and I found this cute little candy cane gift bag. I used this to carry all of the ornaments that I'll show you in just a moment, but I love finding this stuff in the bins because you can easily wash it and you can reuse it, and it's something that's worth picking up. I also found this teddy bear and holly bag. This looks like it may have been handmade, which I always love rescuing, and this is a nice size and shape. It's a good way to store things or gift things. I don't know, but it weighs practically nothing, so totally worth picking up. I also found some Christmas handkerchiefs in the bins. Like I mentioned, I like this type of thing because you are able to easily wash it, and I thought this one was really pretty. I can use these for under my small Christmas trees or for decor. I'm not really sure exactly what I'll use it for, but I really liked the pattern and I picked it up. Here's another pretty handkerchief that I found. This one has candles and holly, and it's just really pretty. And I found this larger handkerchief or table cover, I'm not really sure. This has a pretty elf design with some cute animals, and I think this one might actually be perfect for my medium-sized tree. Since we're talking about Christmas, how about my mini Christmas tree? I've been looking for a mini Christmas tree. I actually have a lot of tiny little ornaments that I bought in the 90s when I was a kid, and I decided that I wanted to find a way to display them. This tree looked like it was in pretty good condition. It's got a nice burlap base, and it ended up weighing half a pound, so it was less than $1 for this. I was glad to get something like this for such a good deal. I also found this snowman advent holder. This probably would have had a little character to move between the numbers, but I'll figure something out for that. I thought this was super cute. I love snowmen, and I've been on the lookout for an advent calendar. I'm looking for a wooden one, but this is a good one in the meantime. As you can see, it still has its tag on the back, and it says that it costs $12.99 at Kmart. I think this is super adorable, and it's one of the things I like finding at the bins. I found another piece of Christmas decor, and lucky for me, it was wrapped in tissue paper. I found this wooden ho-ho-ho that is glitter on wood. I think it's really cute, and this will look nice in one of my displays next Christmas. Since it was protected, I felt like it was worth getting because it didn't lose any of its glitter. Now let's talk about some of the ornaments I got in the bins. I want to mention that I got a bunch of plastic totes on this particular visit. They are 20 cents a pound with or without their lids. These unfortunately did not have their lids, but they're really good for storing things, moving things around. I have a lot of loose craft supplies that I like to corral, so I got a couple of smaller ones and a couple of bigger ones. I've mentioned that I love rescuing plastic canvas ornaments, and I found this pair that has a candle on the front and a wreath on the back. As you can see, they're super cute, and these will look wonderful on my handmade tree next year. I also found this snowman bobblehead ornament. I thought this was really unique. He's really cute, and as you know, I collect snowmen, so why not pick him up? Look at him go. Here on the back, it is marked 1989 Hallmark. I also found this unique joy ornament. I don't think this is homemade, but it has that kind of appeal, and I liked the way that they used the wooden spools. I thought this was really creative, and I might try to make some crafts like this at some point in the future, and why not pick it up for such a good value? It definitely fits the theme of what I like to use on my tree. Here's another acrylic sun catcher, and this is a bear with a candy cane. I love picking these up, and this is both an ornament and a sun catcher, so it was a good find. I found this sparkly plastic deer. I don't think this is actually vintage, but it definitely has that vintage vibe with the gold, with the off-white, the ivory colors, the clear, and I think it's really cute and it'll look nice on my tree. Here's another interesting ornament that I found. It's a beaded snowflake. It's really, really interesting, and this definitely fits in with the vibe. It'll add a little bit of sparkle to my tree, and it was a cool find. I love finding ornaments in the bins. Here's another acrylic sun catcher that I found. It's a snowman. I think it was an interesting choice to put yellow on him, but he looks really cute and I love these. I'm definitely getting a bit of a collection of these acrylic sun catchers. I also found this set of 3 little girls that were made in Taiwan, little wooden ornaments. I have 2 that are this green holding a present and then 1 that is orange. Even though I like wooden ornaments, I already have a lot of them. I picked them up after a yard sale for free. I have a huge box of them, so I don't always pick them up, but I just couldn't leave these little girls behind. Another cute little Christmas find was this stacking Christmas tree. This reminds me of those Russian stacking dolls. It has a little mini Christmas tree inside, as you can see here. It's really hard to get out, which is why I'm leaving it unsealed. I wonder if this would have come with a whole set, maybe 4 of them, but I just found these 2, and of course I had to pick that up as well. Really interesting and really cute. Another small thing I found in the bins is this 2x2 Rubik's Cube. I found another one a few weeks before that was sealed and packaged, but I liked finding one that was already open because I think it'll be fun to try to solve it. Why not? Speaking of toys, I picked up a few plush in the bins. I've started picking up seasonal plush at the thrift store and rummage sales, and it's fun to find them in the bins as well since they're such a good deal. As you can see, this is a really cute snowman. I like that he can stay out beyond the Christmas season because I have a couple of other more seasonal pieces. And I like putting these on the vintage chairs that I pick up. I like using plush as little decor items that add some character, some softness, and it's definitely cute. As you can see here, this snowman was made by Russ, and he is called Snowball. I also found this plush ghost. This plush ghost is very similar to another one that I have that is also made by Hallmark. I believe this is the lady version and the other is the male version. This still has its tag on it, and it is Glimmer the Ghost by Hallmark, and you can see the original prices there. I'm pretty excited that I now have a pair of these, and I'll keep a lookout for the little ones. I could not resist this Thai owl plush. This little plush owl is made by Ty, and her name is Owlette. As I've probably mentioned, I collect owls, and this one is just super cute. I also collect squirrels, and even though I tried to leave this behind, I just couldn't. It is a gray squirrel with a little acorn. As you can see, this is an Audubon piece, and they said birds with real calls. This little guy is the eastern gray squirrel. Here's what he sounds like. Apparently that's what squirrels sound like. For some reason, I am always finding cookie cutters at the bins, and this was no exception. I found this angel cookie cutter, and I don't think I have anything like it, so I picked that up. I also found a bag of cookie cutters, and it had this Wilton tree in it. I also found this turkey. That will be useful for sugar cookies for Thanksgiving. And I found this much larger copper rabbit. This is perfect for the coming Easter season. This might even be fun for making a cake. I'm not really sure. I think I'll have fun with this one. In the bag, I also found a set of 4 gingerbread cookie cutters. It looks like they all go together. They're a stacking set. This little one actually had been squished, so I had to try to fix him. And here's the next size up, and then the next size after that, and then the larger one. I also found this little green one in that bag. This might have been to replace the squashed one. I love gingerbread, and I think it'll be fun to decorate gingerbread men during a future holiday season. I also found this crochet needle. This was actually inside a kit, but I had photocopied instructions and acrylic yarn, so I decided to just take the crochet hook. I got a crochet kit at Goodwill without the hook a few weeks before, and I think this is the same size. One of my favorite finds from this particular visit to the bins was this mini loom. I love weaving, and I'm always picking up any looms I can find, and this one is really neat because it already has the notches in it, and I don't have anything like this. I couldn't find any other pieces with it, but this was a good find by itself. Once I find something like a loom, I look a little closer for other fiber arts items. I was super excited to find a bag that had this cross-stitch fabric and these patterns in it. As you can see, these are Christmas stockings by Shepherd's Bush. This one is called Terry's stocking. This one is Christian's stocking. This one is Robert's stocking. And this one is Tina's stocking. As you can see, these patterns are a little bit primitive, which isn't necessarily my style, but it was still a good find. Even better was this cross-stitch fabric. You can see that this is 18 count fabric, natural linen, and you can see that it would have cost $18.50 for each of these 4 bags. So this was a really, really good find at the bins. Saved me a lot of money on linen. I kept looking and I found a few more cross-stitch related items. I found this little fruit basket kit. This has the fabric and the floss and the wood frame. This is a nice little quick project. I also found these loose mini patterns. I thought this rocking horse was pretty cute, as was this welcome friends wreath. These would have originally been little mini kits, but I have these materials and I can make them myself. I also found some more cross-stitch fabric. I found this tartan plaid. As you can see, you do your cross stitch in the middle and then the fabric is the decoration around. And then here is a Yorktown prince. You can see this fabric has a floral border. This is a similar even weave fabric. It has this little red design around the outside. And here is another tartan plaid. This one has slightly different colors. These aren't exactly my style, but I thought my mom might like to use them, so we'll see. I also found a loose cross-stitch pattern. As you can see, there are these orchard trees, and this is by Told in a Garden. It looks like someone was selling this for 50 cents at a yard sale. This pattern is called Under the Orchard. I also found this pattern by Aspen Needleworks. This says Sunnybrook Farm Folk. This is a little more primitive than my style, but I still thought it was interesting and why not pick it up? And I was also happy to find this beautiful braiding booklet. I've picked up the tools to make a braided rug and I want to give it a try at some point, either a braided rug or a seat cover. We'll see. This even has a couple of pamphlets inside advertising the braid aid. I also found a bag with linens inside it, as well as a little note. As you can see, this tablecloth has a pretty floral design. I liked the vibrant colors of this embroidery, and that's why I decided to get it. There are also 4 matching napkins with a similar floral design. This little handwritten note says luncheon tablecloth and napkins stitched by the person's name, and it says Other Nana. Unfortunately, this ended up in the bins, and there was actually another set that was really stained. This one I think I can get the stains out of, but I definitely felt like this handmade work needed to be rescued. Speaking of random items, I found this metal container that says MISC on it for miscellaneous items. I thought this would be really useful for storing things, and I thought it was in good condition. I like the color, I like the handle, and why not pick it up when you can find it at the bins? Now let's look at some of the bigger and heavier items that I rescued. I found this frog juice game, and I was pretty sure that I did already have this. Turns out I did pick this up at the swap shed, but I counted the cards and it was complete, and it's a fun game, so why not pick it up? This is a game right game, and these are pretty desirable. I may be able to pass this on to someone at some point to have a backup set, who knows, but I felt like rescuing it. Speaking of games I already have, I do have Word Yahtzee, but I really like this game, and so I felt like it was a good idea to get more of the dice. Plus, it's nice to have extra scorecards, and it's pretty light, so why not pick this up as well? I also have this game. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I know this is a really awesome game, even though I haven't played it yet. I actually have 2 other versions of this, one from an estate sale and one from the bins as well, but this one has another expansion pack, and I looked at the cards inside, and there's a bonus expansion pack that the person must have stored in here. I'm not sure why this got donated. This was actually marked $2, and it must have sold at one of the retail stores. Now, I definitely have plenty of expansion packs to play this game. When I saw this vintage bingo game, I could not leave it behind. I just love how simple this game is. You can spin around and choose the number, and you can mark here which numbers are the ones that have been called. This also comes with little cardboard cards, so you can reuse them. And even though I haven't played bingo in a long time, I could not leave this behind with this bright and colorful set. Here is another random vintage item that I found in the bins. It is this Smith Corona 10-day touch typing course. You can see here that it is copyright 1958. I actually picked up a typewriter at the bins, and so when I saw this, and it is a book and an album, so it's 20 cents a pound, I had to pick this up as well. Look at these graphics. This is definitely vintage. It looks like this may never have been used. Oh, how things have changed. I think this would be fun to display with my typewriter, so we'll see. I also found a whole bunch of origami. There are quite a few different types of origami sets, and this is something I've always wanted to learn how to do, and so I felt like, why not? What I liked is that inside the box, there were a bunch of different types of origami paper, still sealed. Someone else also probably had good intentions to learn origami and then decided that they were never going to use it. This has a book inside, so it got weighed along with the books. But it's always worth asking if they will weigh paper as books because it is heavy and I figure that's why books are cheaper. Speaking of books, it is always fun to see what you can find in the bins. I found this cocktails and punches book and I decided to get it because it includes non-alcoholic cocktails. That's always something that's fun to make. I personally love mixed fruit juices, and so I thought this would be a great way to get some inspiration. I also found this cute little book, Happiness Is 500 Things to Be Happy About. This was published by Chronicle Books, and they always have good ideas, and I think it's just something that would be fun to look at when you need something to smile about. I definitely agree that gardening and warm bread are two really happy-making things. I also found this herbal wisdom book. I really like learning about herbs, and so whenever I can find these books for cheap at the bins, I pick them up as resources or inspiration. I found this Spirited Away manga. I don't know how to say that. And actually, I was going to put it back, but then I forgot, so now I have it. The reason I was going to put it back is it's one of 5 and I just have the one. But it'll be interesting to look at. I was happy to find 2 Christmas little golden books. This is The Night Before Christmas. I believe I have this one from my childhood, but it's nice to have one that I can put on display without worrying about it. This one says it's the 36th printing, 1980. I definitely remember looking at these images when I was a kid. I also found the Animals Christmas Eve. I've been on the lookout for these Christmas little golden books ever since I've seen a few other YouTubers mention that they use them in their holiday displays. This one is copyright 1977. These pictures are actually quite pretty. I was super excited to find this book. This is a treasury of North American folk tales, and this has folk tales from all different cultures. This was an excellent find, and it's in really good condition. I'm so excited to read through these a little at a time. I have a couple other folk tale books from an estate sale last year, but this one has really good reviews and I really am excited to read it. I love learning about the stories that we pass down through cultures. I think it ties in with my interest in textiles and fiber art and how we weave things together. I was really surprised to find this glass cutting board in the bins, and I recognized this pattern. This is a Corningware pattern that I actually collect. The only reason I knew that this was a Corningware cutting board is that I saw someone post a picture of the Forest Fancies version of this a few weeks before. As I mentioned, this is one of the patterns of Corningware that I have been collecting to use, and it's nice to have these glass cutting boards to protect your counters. How this did not get broken in the miscellaneous bins, I don't know, but I was happy to get this even though it is quite heavy. The last few things that I have to show you are a bunch of random Tupperware and other plastics. Like I mentioned when talking about the totes, I am picking up these items in order to organize all my finds, and I like the idea of reduce, reuse, not buying brand new plastic. On this particular visit, there was a ton of Tupperware. This plastic container is not Tupperware, but I really like that it is a tall container that opens from the top. This will definitely be good for some of my fiber arts items. I also found these 2 divided Tupperware containers. They are this bright yellow color, and they came with their lids and they're in pretty good condition. I thought these would be nice for taking snacks during yard sale season, estate sale season, and I just felt like they were worth picking up. They're in really good shape. I also think these would be useful for storing craft items. It's always worth thinking about the other ways you can use these things. This was another interesting piece of Tupperware. As you can see, it's got a hard plastic top and it's got this nice seal on it. I also thought this Tupperware container would be really good for items for crafting, embroidery, cross-stitch, whatever. I liked that it was a nice shape, it's a good way to stack things, and it's really portable. When I saw purple Tupperware, of course I had to get it. This is a divided relish tray, and it has the little piece that screws in order to use it as a relish tray. I thought this was a really good find. I found one previously at the bins without this little handle, but I love this color, and this could be used either for food or for carrying around craft items. I wasn't 100% sure what this is for, and I still don't really know, but I loved this blue color. Any Tupperware experts, please let me know what this is supposed to be for. The seal isn't super tight on this. I'm not sure if I'm missing a piece that went in the middle. I'm not really sure what it's for, but it could be a plate. Maybe it's just a serving plate to cover. I'm not sure. because it could stack. I still feel like I might be missing a piece, or maybe it never worked correctly and that's how it ended up in the bins. The last two pieces of plastic I found are these embroidery floss holders. I am always on the lookout for these for $1 or less because they're not that expensive to begin with, and these are awesome for storing embroidery floss, also for beads, although I don't really do any of that these days. But I've also discovered that these are wonderful for holding small figurines. It's a great way to store them so they don't get broken, you don't have to wrap them, and you can see them if you're changing out your displays like I do. So I found 2 of them in the bins. As you can see, it was a very successful visit to the Goodwill Outlet. Even though I didn't find much vintage glassware, I did find vintage Tupperware. I really enjoy rummaging through the bins and rescuing things that I can use and repurpose. Leave a comment and let me know which of my finds were your favorite. I think my favorite finds are this adorable owl, the treasury of folk tales, and that tiny little wooden loom. Thanks again for stopping by my channel. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe and click that bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. If you'd like to see what else I've rescued from the bins, check out this playlist I've linked in the description. Have a good one. Goodbye.